Oh, as soon as it's live.
All right.
Welcome to the Love, Truth, Peace, Freedom, and Justice podcast. I'm Ferdinand, the bringer of balance, leader of many disciplines, and one of your hosts. I'm here with the amazing, the infamous, the main host of the Love, Truth, Peace, Freedom, and Justice podcast, Brother Maurice Pennington Bey. How you doing, brother?
Islam, Islam, Islam. All is well. We
Islam,
woke up this
Islam.
morning. We woke up free. You know what I mean? Islam. So we well.
Facts. So today, for our very first podcast, the pilot, we're focused on truth, the truth of all existence. You got any measures to give us about that, brother?
Well, we could definitely start off, where the prophet Jesus left off. He said that truth is the only thing that changes not in all the world. There are two things. The one is truth and the other is falsehood. So when we talk about truth, we talking about the spirit of things. As Moorish Americans, as Moorish scientists, that's very, very important because we know our eyes and our ears and even our tongues lie to us, but when we looking at something and we recognize, the God or the spirit that's within the thing, then we can identify the truth about that thing, So when it comes to the basis of truth, that's what that's about. So I don't want to add nothing to that because then I'll be giving you some Islamism, and we ain't demonstrating Islamism. We demonstrate Islamism. You know what I mean? Too much
There you go. There you
Islamism
go.
going on right now in Moorish America. Right.
Well, I got a question for you, brother. Within the
Islam.
101 keys, where can we find truth of all existence?
All throughout the 101 key. I mean, even before you open up the pamphlet, just look at the cover. And you can identify so much truth just there on the cover. I'm gonna show you something, right? So here's a 101's pamphlet. In the Moorish Science Temple of America, we taught to study the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's literature from cover to cover. You know, in chapter 1 of the Holy Quran, it says that no finite mind can comprehend things infinite. Now, what that does is it's introducing the reader to an idea that's brand new to the infinite mind, you know. And man being a thought of Allah, man is an infinite thing. So, in order for us to begin to comprehend ourselves, we have to first approach the comprehension of self, without any boundaries, without any, prejudices about, what it is that I might be and what it is that I might be capable of. So, when we just look right here at the Quran and we see this universal symbol right here, this crescent moon and this star. All right. This is truth. This is a real deep truth. It's a scientific truth. And the crescent, this not this right here, okay, the moon is a reflector of light. It reflects light. That's what it does. At nighttime, when it's dark, the moon reflects the light of the sun, and that's all of the light that we need. It's just this little sliver. But the important thing about man is when you see the star, because the star itself is the origin of the light. The sun is a star, the day star, it's the origin of the light. This star right here, it represents us. We are the origin of the light for the rest of humanity. So when we look up right here and we see this symbol, and then we see the Prophet Noble Drew Ali bringing humanity out of the cares of the world, out of the darkness into this wonderful light, bringing it into us. Something else that the Quran teaches us, it says that those who thus are cleansed comprise the temple of purity. So the Moorish Science Temple of America itself is not a place. We are the temple. You know, we, the members, the clean and pure members, we are the temple. We are the ones who, the new initiates or the new Moorish Americans, this is where they come. They come into us and they join with us and become a member of this divine body, and then they are sheltered. They learn their nationality and their divine creed, which protects them here in this world. All right. So when we talk about where can truth be found, in this pamphlet, from cover to cover, Moab. You know, we go back to the scripture in the Bible. It says that Allah created man from dust. That's an absolute fact. We are made from dust in all reality, stardust. Okay, stardust. We know that all of the elements that exist in the universe, only three originally existed. Only three, and all of the rest of them was born in the belly of stars. And when these stars do what man calls die, then these elements, they are scattered all over the universe, and these elements come together to form the things, the multitude of things that the eyes can see and that the senses can interact with, including the physical bodies that Creator Fate have provided us with in order to express ourselves here on this plane of things made manifest. So it's all sorts of truth inside of here. I mean, real live scientific truth. We practical. We don't demonstrate spookisms in the Moorish Science Temple of America. So
there you go. I put the image up on the screen so everybody could see it a little bit better. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make it a little bit larger.
Okay.
That'll help everybody out a little bit. But yeah, like we all need to see this image because this is powerful. And like you said, we're all made of stardust. We need to understand the connection between the stars and the moon, the connection between the other celestial bodies like the Earth and Saturn and Mars and Nibiru, and we can go down the list. But we need to understand the principle of correspondence to understand how we're all connected, how all things in multiversal reality are connected. And I think that you gave that measure very well, brother. And we got to give reverence to our brother Noble Drew Ali for making sure that we had this information, because we were in trying times when he brought this to us. And I would even say that the brother Marcus Garvey tried to do it first, but he wasn't quite prepared for what he did, and Noble Drew Ali was able to carry out the remaining work that he stepped out to do. Would you say that that's correct or close to correct?
Well, absolutely. Let's understand that Marcus Mosiah Garvey, he did exactly what he was sent to do. He was the harbinger. His duty here was to stir the multitudes up and to prepare them for the divine prophet Noble Drew Ali. And Marcus Mosiah Garvey, he was able and capable of doing that. He got it done. I mean, we see his handprints right now on every single solitary Asiatic organization, in the world today, whose purpose is still the uplifting of fallen humanity. The Moorish Science Temple of America, we do not have a monopoly on this job of uplifting fallen humanity. It's enough work for all to do in this. Man, I mean, we just look at the state of humanity. I mean, now we're dealing with truth. Let's look around the world and see what's going on, with the Asiatics, and see, what's going on with the people in general. Everybody suffering, and it's the sad thing, like the Prophet Buddha demonstrated, in the Four Noble Truths about the first truth is, the truth of suffering, the acknowledgement of the suffering. And you got a lot of individuals in this world today who don't want to acknowledge that they are suffering, and therefore they are perpetuating not just the suffering of the world, but the suffering of themselves. Look what's going on over there in Israel right now. I mean, man, we got a whole rack of Europeans over there who really don't have no indigenous claim to that land. These are straight Europeans. Neither them nor their ancestors are from that place, and they over there, trying to wipe out the people that's that have the actual claim.
I'm glad you brought that. I'm glad you brought that to the table,
Yeah.
brother. I'm really glad you brought that to the table, because that's a really important piece. That what you're talking about. A lot of the scholars, they call it the Khazarian theory, and it's actually not a theory, because they verified through DNA, through the blood of those descendants of people, that they are of Khazarian influence, and the Khazarians come from north of the Caucasus Mountains. They're basically Western Russians, and they're Eastern Europeans they were so bad of a warring tribe that the Khans of Mongolia were scared of them. Genghis Khan and Kublai Khan, they are known throughout history as some of the greatest warlords that ever walked this earth. And they had a problem with the Khazarians. But then you got the Romans who decide, you know what? Let's take these Khazarians and let's sign a deal with them. And let's let them inhabit the Holy Land. So now that energy that's still within those people, because it doesn't leave, it's part of their deoxyribonucleic acid, it's part of their Akashic records.
That's
Even
right.
no matter how righteous they choose to try to walk, this is always a part of them. This is at the core
Mhm.
of them, and they are the blood right now of the Holy Land. So when we have people that are not of the land of Judah stepping, and stepping into the land of Judah and choosing to be the quote unquote holy people, well, now that energy is what's leading the world.
Mhm. A couple things that you said, the Prophet Noble Ali teaches us all about this. Those individuals are still today exactly who their forefathers were without a doubt or a contradiction. All right. The Prophet Noble Ali also taught us that all people suffer slavery because they honor not the creed and principles of their forefathers. And we see today that, sadly, the Palestinians, the true Palestinians, they are suffering because they honor not the creed and principles of their forefathers. And then we see today this one tribe of Europeans, who are, basically usurping the birthright of these people. And the sad thing about it is, I find it difficult to believe that any intelligent people in the world actually believe that these people truly have a claim to this land. I want to show you something. Okay. Throughout the course of history, wherever there was a war, you can always tell what the fight was about. You can always tell what the fight was about. You could tell if one group was actually going in to literally take the land from another group. Because if they was going in to take the land from another group, then they didn't care nothing about killing and wiping out everybody. They would kill men, women, children. It didn't matter because they wanted the land. But when they went in and the purpose was either to conquer the people in order to colonize these individuals, then they couldn't kill everybody. If they was going in for economic reasons, like the United States of America, when they went into the Middle East, everybody say, oh man, they going over there, for oil and this, that, and the third. No, they went over there so that they could put McDonald's and Home Depots and Popeyes over there. You understand me? They wanted to put an economic presence in this place where they could actually have United States American businesses in these areas that was sending money back home. Well, what we see today, when everybody is saying, why are these so-called Jews slaying so many men, women, and children? Why are they blowing up hospitals and stuff? Because they care nothing about having anyone to survive. They just want the land. These people are literally trying to take everything. They're trying to take the vast estate of the Palestinians for themselves. These Europeans that are today calling themselves Jews, this is the truth. They are absolutely today who their forefathers were in history past. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Mo, I really appreciate that, and I agree with you that that's definitely the truth. But at this little break part in the show, I want to encourage all the guests out there. Please like, share, love, comment, subscribe, all that. Right? Hit us up. Get in touch with us. Get in them comments. Let us know what the truth of all existence is. Let us know what you'd like us to touch on within this topic of the truth of all existence. Understand that the Love, Truth, Peace, Freedom, and Justice podcast, what we're going to be doing is Mondays is love, Tuesdays is truth, Wednesdays is freedom. Wednesdays is peace,
That's right.
Thursdays is freedom, and Fridays is justice. All right. So y'all tune in with us. Y'all drop some comments. Y'all share the video. Listen, this is a brotherhood and a sisterhood. We coming together and we're going to provide righteousness to the people. All right. So y'all engage.
Islam, Islam, Islam. That's right. That's
What's
right.
up, buddy?
You know something. You know something else that's true. This is a beautiful thing that we doing right here. This engagement that we are initiating. amongst Moorish Americans to come together, and absent of the ancient hatreds that exist. I want all the Moors right now out there in Moorish America to hear it right now and know, hey, I love you more. I don't have any type of, you know, prejudices against anybody. I'm here to work for and work with anybody. I am just a student of the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. I'm striving every day to be a faithful member. You know, I want to force attention to the real life issues that are the Negro problem. I want to force attention to it. The Prophet Noble Jew Ali said that in the promotion of plans for the betterment of mankind, there's ever opposition. And he said that the opposition comes from those who have no ideas and no courage to force attention to ideas. So, being, where we come from the streets. We are elevated into the status of being Moorish American Muslims, by the great God Allah through his prophet. So we give praise to Allah and honor to the Holy Prophet Noble Jew Ali to continue to work. He came, he started something, he set the fire. Now it's time for us to spread it, to extend the learning. And basically that's what I'm here for. I how it gets sometimes, with the Moors. Hey, all the Moors are welcome to come out to the Love, True Peace, Freedom, and Justice podcast, to sit down on the panel with us and have these discussions about the possibilities of man and the lessons that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and how we can apply them in real life today to solve real life problems. That's what it's about. Let's put our heads together, let's put our hands together, and let's work for the people. So I get honest to the brother Ferdinand Thomas Bey, what I mean, for, basically, setting the fire up under me. That brother contact me, he said, Mo, come on, let's do this. And I'm like, man, whenever you ready, like 6 o'clock in the morning. Bet. Let's rock. Let's rock.
Hey man,
In the
we got
early,
we got we got
early
to get
morning.
we got to get these Moors. Yeah, we got to get these Moors getting up early and meditating and drinking water and exercising, because this journey is about self. The Noble Drew Ali, as well as many of the other yogis and sages throughout history, have all taught the same message: know thyself.
That's
And if we are to know thyself, one of the first things we got to do is take care of thyself. First thing in the AM, we've got to align our circadian rhythms with the movement of that sun, so that we can be properly aligned in our energy throughout the day, so that we can be moving in the ways that we are supposed to be moving. And these are all things that, even though I'm not necessarily explaining it based upon what it says in the Holy Koran, I can almost guarantee you this is exactly what Noble Drew Ali was teaching to the people.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali, one measure right here. He put it in the law. He said, all Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. Just that entire process that you just described about waking up and starting your day properly, properly preparing yourself mentally to just go about the business of being responsible. Drink water, hydrate your body, exercise. Listen, Moors, I love you. With that being the case, I have to live for you. We have a job to do. I can't be just going around eating all of the donuts and eating all of the greasy foods and not exercising and training my physical body. It's a health calling her forth to show her loveliness, meaning the soul. If I just allow for my body to deteriorate, then I can't be here right now demonstrating what I have mentally, and so I can't express myself. So yeah, Mo, absolutely, the Prophet Noble Jew Ali taught us all about that. To be healthy and to align with the solar star. So yeah.
Trey Packs, one of the things that I do is holistic health. So I help people get rid of disease, have full remission from whatever disease that it is. And for that to happen, a person would have to develop whole health. And in the space of whole health, disease falls off like dead skin.
That's
This
right.
is what many of the doctors, unfortunately, they haven't really ascended to just yet, even though Hippocrates taught this and they all take the Hippocratic oath, right? But the reality of the situation is, for us to never have disease, or for us to get rid of disease that we may be dealing with, all we would have to do is follow the words, the teachings of Noble Drew Ali in the Holy Koran.
That's right. You know, the Grand Governor, Sheik Neil Bey. Sheik Neil Bey, you know, that mo be standing on his diet, you know, and you know, I give honest to him because he wants to be here for the Moors. He ain't trying to transition before his time, even though we can't transition before our time, but it's the responsible thing to do. I want to share something, right? So yesterday was my first day of school. I'm going to school for psychology because the mental health crisis that exists right now in the United States of America and the world today, you know, is tragic, and you know, I'm saddened by it. And anything that disturbs me, you know, before I allow it just to become a mental disease, I have to do something about it. All right. So part of the thing that perpetuates all of this mental illness in our society is just our lack of attention to our own health. The body is struggling so much just to keep on going, that your thoughts is everywhere. We can't focus. You know, as a people, we cannot focus our attention on the things that deserve our attention because our bodies is so out of whack, Mo. It's so out of whack. I was so shocked when I seen almost all of the women that I knew 20 years ago, how much weight that they have put on. All right. I want to talk about this because I did I learned a lot about physical training. And one of the main reasons why our Asiatic women today have the body mass that they have right now is because they eat like men. They sit down, and you and I, here it is, we're 180, 190, 200-pound men. And the amount of food that we put on our plate, our women are sitting across the table from us with the same amount of food on their plate. But what are they? 5'1", 5'2", 5'5", and they're consuming this food where the calories, they don't have nowhere to go. They don't have nowhere to go. So this obesity crisis is causing mental health issues because then they're not happy with what they see in the mirror. You know, so Mo, it's all about the knowledge of self, knowing oneself and knowing what one want, you know, knowing what one desires for self and from self. You know, if you know what you want to produce, then you have to prepare your body to be able to produce what you want, you know. So
Absolutely. You know, one of the things that I focused on in my life is knowing thyself. It took me a long time to get there. But once I got there, I started to trust thyself. And then I had courage for thyself. I believed in and knew that I could do anything for self. And then when I was able to do all of those things for self, it was easy to do them for others, you know? But what
mm-hmm,
I had to do to get there, I had to let go of everything that wasn't serving. I had to let go of the entertainment. I had to let go of the relationships that weren't serving. I had to let go of the foods that weren't serving, the drinks that weren't serving. I had to let go of all of that. And I had to ingest through the eyes, the ears, the mouth, the nose, the secretions of the skin, and the third eye. I had to accept truth and righteousness, but only I could only do that if I wiped my palate clean and came to the table white as snow. And when I was able to do that, when I let go of those skeletons, I was led exactly where I was supposed to go. And make no mistake about it, I was out at these journeys that I was going on, that where I was being led places. Man, I was walking across bridges where under me it was like a hundred hungry crocodiles,
it
and
was.
you
It's
know,
exactly what they
yeah,
was.
there was hurt, harm, and danger. All this was along the way, but I was guided down a pathway where nothing could mess with me. My children were going to be fine. My wife was going to be okay because I consistently walked this path of righteousness and full self-discipline. But the only way I was able to do it was by
Mhm.
first knowing thyself. It was the prerequisite. It was the foundation that I needed to build within self to be able to walk this journey unscathed.
That's right. You know, once we discover our purpose and then we dedicate ourselves to it, you know, the Prophet Noble Ali, you know, he said, teach him diligence. All right. So once we discover our purpose, I'm gonna tell you something about me. You know, everybody know I just got out of prison. It took me 5 years to serve one day. I was incarcerated for 5 years, more. I was incarcerated for 5 years, and I woke up and I had the exact same amount of time I started with because I just kept on getting in trouble. You know, I had I had been sentenced to more time than I had lived. My mind did not know how to comprehend it. I didn't even think about being still to comprehend it, right? But the moment, one day, I'll tell the Moors a story. I got transferred to an institution, and when I got to the compound, it was on lockdown, so they put me directly in the cell. They put me in the cell with a great man. Please understand, this was a very good brother. All right. They called him Miami Red. Miami Red got a life sentence in the federal prison. At the time, he had been locked up for 20 years. So when I walked into the cell, this brother had whole head gray, beard gray. You know what I mean? So I come into the cell, and he introduced himself to me. You know, he opened up his locker. He gave me everything that I needed, you know. But when I looked in his locker, it was basically, you know, the bare necessities, right? And I looked at the man, and you know, clearly he was, you know, at least 50 years old, pants sagging. And I'm looking, he had been locked up 20 years. He explained this to me. So in my mind, I'm just thinking about this whole, you know, bus ride I just been on. And then the brother turned around from the door and he said, "Hey, little brother," because I was 27 years old. He said, "Hey, little brother." He said, "If you want something to read, I got some books right there." So I turned around and looked by the locker, and there was a pile of urban novels. Now, I used to read urban novels. At the time, I read them, but I looked at them urban novels. Then I turned around and I looked at this brother, this elder, and I said, "I don't want to be that. I don't want to be 20 years into my sentence. I don't want to be uh, the man with a whole head full of gray hair and a beard, still reading urban novels, pants still sagging. That's not what I want." And right then and there, I said, I'm fed up with that particular lifestyle. I realized that if I kept on going down that path, going down that road, that way, that I probably was never going to get out of prison. And even if I did get out of prison, the physical prison that I was in, I would never get out of the mental prison that led me to that place. And I was like, you know, what do I do? Where do I begin? Where do I start? And in a still small voice, it said, Moorish Science Temple of America. Now, it's not strange. It's not spooky, Moors, all right? Throughout those 5 years, no one had really ever tried to sit me down and talk to me, have any conversation about me doing the right thing, or you know how I could actually use the time that I have been given it to get the best out of it. They say out of the worst, the wise, to find means to do good. But every now and then, it will always be this brother, different brothers, you know, but this brother, and they would be demonstrating to me, and they would be talking about this man named Noble Drew Ali, and they'll be talking about nationality, divine creed. They'll be talking about utilizing time properly. They'll be talking about being responsible. They'll be asking me, "Hey, Mo, do you got children? You know, what do you do for your children?" In my mind, I'm like, what can I do for my children? I'm in prison. But they would always provide me with means and little small things that even though I was incarcerated, I could do for my children. So that's the first thing that I thought about when I really made my mind up to change was the Moorish Science Temple of America. And then when I came into the Moorish Science Temple of America, the first time I went to a meeting, I was sitting in the chapel, and this man by the name of Eric Bozeman got double life plus 20 years in prison. But Eric Bozeman, he came to the podium. Now, the brothers that spoke before him, I will never forget some of the things that they said. It was deep, and they were some young brothers like me. So I was like, wow, I can't believe these brothers. They the same age as me, and they this sharp. But when the elder came to the podium and he started speaking, man, his words, they just shook my soul. They shook me to the core of my being. I mean, I did not have any education on the majority of the things he was speaking about, but I understood everything. And I knew right then and there, I said, that's what I want to do. I discovered my purpose. And from that day forward, moving forward, the whole prison experience changed for me. I started to read the Quran religiously. I mean, religiously. That's what I did. I read and studied Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America for like 2 years. I didn't watch TV at all. I didn't even watch football more. I love football. All I did was just study Moorish science and consume the prophet's teachings, right? Because I wanted to be able to provide my people with these teachers, because every day it seemed like the stressors that I was suffering from was just slowly being alleviated. Like you said, how it just falls off like dead skin, this disease. When we start to live right and we start to eat right, this disease just starts to fall off like dead skin. That's what was happening to me, and I was bearing witness. Everything was slowing down. The attitude that I thought that I had to project, the energy that I thought I had to utilize to do my time and to be safe. I thought, we always think, if somebody, steps to us one way, then we have to meet them where they are. Well, that's not true. In the Moorish Science Temple of America, I learned all about etheric vibration. I learned that the higher self, the vibration of the higher self is superior to low vibrations. That as long as I kept myself vibrating on high, then I didn't have to ever, pour that energy out, as a first response to someone else's negative energy. The Prophet Noble Ali taught me this, because this is the truth. The higher vibration is truth. The higher vibration is the mother of virtues and the harmonies of life, and it breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. So anytime that it gets the opportunity to copulate, all right, or to have an intercourse with any other type of energy, the produce is going to be something that's positive and something that's favorable. I was slowly and surely learning this, and how I was learning it, because I was courageous enough and willing enough to try it. I had already tried everything else. The truth was, my best thinking got me in prison. My best thinking got me shot. My best thinking left my children alone, out here to be raised by a single mom without me. My best thinking left my mother, to miss her son for 20 years. That was what my best thinking had got me. But now I'm thinking driven by
let me chime in
purpose.
on what you just said real quick.
Yeah,
Let me just chime
yeah.
in on what you said just real quick. You said I tried it, and that stood out to me, because I don't think so many of us understand that everything that in life is about application, right? It doesn't make a difference if we read the book. I don't care how much we read the Holy Quran, the teachings of Buddha, Confucianism, or the Analects of Confucius, the Holy Bible. It doesn't matter how many times we read any of those books. You can read them till you're blue in the face, until you got words all over your skin. It's always about application. But when you said I tried it, I was like, oh man, that brother got it. He got it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we gotta try. Now the object is to try to get some of these youngsters that's out here, on these corners to try. To try to get some of our young people that's, in college right now, before the Greek letter fraternities and all these other European recruitment agencies get a hold of them, and capture their ingenuity for their labor forces. Because that's what they do. So that's another goal of mine. I'm out here and I'm hunting, I'm searching for as many Asiatics that have never heard the teachings of the Holy Prophet Noble Ali, to bring the teachings to them. I want to see our young people wearing fez, walking around on college campuses, discussing the possibilities of man, and realizing that because of the career choices and decisions that they made in the place where they are right now, that the possibilities of man are absolutely endless. That every day the imagination can stretch forward and produce new possibilities, the way the universe does every time we move. You know, that's what I'm out to do. That's what I'm out to produce. And I'm calling on, as many loyal, faithful members to aid me, like yourself. What I mean? We working in harmony. Can we talk about this image right here, this lion and this lamb right here?
Please do.
Because the Prophet Noble Ali said, and this is the truth. The Prophet Noble Ali said that this lion represents the rich, and that the lamb represents the poor. Okay, that's true. Because in the Holy Bible, in the book of Revelations, it says that when the Lamb entered into heaven, the Lamb was given the book of seven seals, say that the Lamb had earned the right to open the book of the seven seals. Now, I want to show and share something with the Moors. It said that the Lamb looked as though he had been slaughtered, right? Which means that he looked like he had just came from a vicious fight, but he was still standing. He walked in. Now, whoever he was fighting with, they ain't show up to the party. Okay. So understand, Moors, that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali came to teach us how to fight. And teaching us to be ourselves, he is teaching us how to fight. Okay. The Prophet, listen to what he said. He said that the Asiatics of America need to learn to love instead of hate. So now he's teaching us to fight the fight the way that Allah wants us to fight to fight the fight with love. Okay, to fight the fight by loving each other. His love is continued to us all that way. I'm talking about God's love for us is continued to us all in that way. So this lamb right here that's conquering this lion, that's making this lion say, listen, man, I want you to know that I'm here. Business is warfare. All right. Business is warfare, Moors. The European nations that stand in opposition to the Asiatic nations right now today stand in opposition because they do not want to compete with us. They do not want us out on a global scale competing for consumers. They don't want us competing for the attention of the population of the world. Because if we win over the attention of the population of the world, then love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be taught and embraced universally. And if love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice is embraced universally, then you can no longer capitalize off of disasters. You can no longer capitalize off of individual suffering. Okay. Even the media. I had a brother tell me just the other day that we couldn't produce podcasts like this and be successful because it's not entertaining. And I say, man, to myself, man, I don't think that this brother knows the power of truth. I don't think that this brother know the teachings that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali demonstrated when he said the same truth that draws you will drive you. All right. I don't think that he know that there's so many Asiatics out there right now who's suffering, and the only reason why they continue living the way they living is because they just don't know where to start to solve the problem. You know, so I praise Allah again for sending the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Because when I got fed up, I realized that my starting point was taking that first step and coming into the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Yeah, that's some powerful words right there, and I trust and believe and know that all of it is the truth. The realities of the truth of all existence is that we operate by universal laws, principles, things of that nature, right? So the three that I subscribe to the most are the law of suggestion, the law of sacrifice, and the law of reciprocity. Obviously, our brother Yeshua, he gave us one of the strongest lessons of the law of reciprocity, right? And, you know, the what we give, we receive, you know, and if we give in certain types of ways, we may receive a tenfold, hundredfold, thousandfold, millionfold, right? It just depends on how we choose to give, right? But then when we talk about the law of sacrifice, you know, there's a picture that I see often when I go places, and it's like a painting, and it's of Yeshua. It's a European Yeshua, and a little girl, right? The little girl, she has this old beat up teddy bear. The button on the eye is gone. The stuffing in the bear is coming all out, but she loves this teddy bear. This is her teddy bear. She sleep with the teddy bear. She kissed the teddy bear every night. She tell the teddy bear she loved that teddy bear, no matter how that teddy bear looked. right? But she been saying in her prayers that she want a new teddy bear, right? And Yeshua is standing there with the big old teddy bear behind his back. It's the brand new one. It's the fresh
Yeah.
one. It ain't. It's got 3 months before it come out. Right? She about to get it before it even come out, like fresh Jordans. Okay, and it's
Yeah.
bigger than her teddy bear. It's more plush. It got like some chinchilla or something on it and all that. Right? But for her to get this teddy bear, this is the lesson that our people need to take from seeing this picture whenever they walk past it every day. For her to get this teddy bear, she has to have faith. She has to give away the teddy bear that she loves first. She has to wipe her palate clean. And once she does that, the new teddy bear is offered to her in love.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. Hey, that's a beautiful analogy, right? I like the way you did that. And I have another analogy. I liken it into getting a tattoo. All right. Tattoos hurt. You know what I mean? They hurt. But when the artist, when they start doing the outline, after a while, we get used to that pain. Even though it hurt, we're used to it. And the idea of moving the needle to an area where it hadn't yet been, it's like, man, the anticipation of this new pain is a lot of times too much to bear. And for the Asiatics and for the people in general, you know what I mean, in the world who are suffering, it's the same thing. So the idea of moving from a area where you're suffering, but it's familiar suffering, into an area where you may suffer and where you're not familiar with the pain is scary, and that's where the Quran teaches us that thus hope shall ever be his beacon light. That's where we have to, really, really know that Allah is leading on and victory is sure. And we see now the psychological, the psychological knowledge that went into the preparation of the Quran, of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali first of teaching us these things, that man cannot die. Listen, Moors. No living thing dies. At least not the way we have been taught, not what we have been taught about death, prior to coming to the Moorish Science Temple of America. Man is a spirit and a part of Allah. But then there is what men call the Elohim. And these are the 7 creative spirits who created everything that ever was, is, and evermore will be. All right. So the spirit that is grass, it does not die. The spirit that is cat or dog, it does not die. The spirit that is the stars, who from their belly, in their bellies, produce the elements that constitute all of the physical things that our eyes see and that the physical part of us interact with, they do not die. All right. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali teaches us these things in the beginning of the Quran. Now, when we embrace and we accept this truth, then that's where we get the courage to toil through what is at first unknown. Meaning the transition, like you talked about, the throwing off of the old life, the leaving the skeletons, to getting rid of that. You know what? I'm from the streets. I'm from the ghetto. I'm used to this. But it ain't never did nothing but cause me suffering. So now it's time for us to enter into society. Well, in society, we have to live a different way. We have to think a different way. All right. And it's unknown at first. But when we start to take these steps, we realize that we are only stepping into our natural position. And then we get, hey, it's no more pain. It's no more pain. It's no more suffering.
That's
The
a fact.
toil, it's supported by love. So now it's like, man, I love doing my job. Like, straight, I like having bills, because I know that I pay these bills so that my children and so that my woman and so that myself and so that my family can be sheltered, so that they can have comfortability in life. So I love working. I love waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning to do this, even though I just went to
Facts.
sleep at 3. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, I anticipated it. I started to just stay up because I was so prepared and so ready to get to it, the work. You understand me? To get to
Facts.
the work. I remember, walking up out of that place, and everybody was like, "Man, the world has changed so much since you was gone. You ready for it? Like, ain't you scared? You worried?" And I'm like, "No. As a matter of fact, I hope you listening. I hope you watching somewhere, Miss Leonard, my old DTS. That's drug treatment specialist. Even though I don't have a drug problem and haven't had a drug problem in many, many years, you know, I took what's called the RDAP program, volunteered for, because that's what I went into. I wanted to learn. Before I came home, I wanted to be around people who were suffering, this substance abuse problem. I wanted to really, really be there. I wanted to really see it. I wanted to know what I had to deal with when I get out here. So I'm in this program, and I'm, being the Moorish American, utilizing the teachings of the prophet to help those around me and then to make myself better. And my drug treatment specialist pulls me into her office one day. She gives me a treatment summary. And in the treatment summary, she talks all about how I suffer from what's called super optimism. I have too much confidence. I'm saying to myself, if you spend 16 years straight preparing for a moment, and I mean really preparing, right? If you put in all of the work that a person could put in to prepare for a moment, you're supposed to be confident. Okay. If you've been through all that I've been through, shot, stabbed, locked up, people don't get locked up for being more scientists. People don't get locked up for helping people. People don't get stabbed or shot for doing this work, this divine work. This is not my expectation. So what is there to be afraid of, Ms. Leonard? What is there to be afraid of, world? I want to tell the Moors a story. I kind of demonstrated this measure on my when I first came home. And the story is about Elijah. All right. The prophet of Allah, Elijah. And I'm not going to, I just want to say this. Elijah, he called on Allah. He called on Allah to prove to the 400 false prophets of Baal that Allah, the living God, was the only God, and that Baal was not God at all. And Allah answered his call. And then whenever he needed Allah, Allah answered his call. Allah sent ravens to feed him food. He sent angels to deliver him food. But Elijah still ran and searched for Allah from mortals. And I'm going to say to the Moors, stop running, stop searching for Allah. Be still. Allah speaks to man through man and in a still small voice. Because the nearest place to meet him is in the heart. Allah is always there to guide us. And the Prophet Noble Drew Ali has made us to know this for all those who study his life and works. This young man, 27 years old, founded the Moorish Science Temple of America in the Jim Crow era in the United States of America. Tell me that he wasn't guided by God.
Thank you. Absolutely.
And he
That
was
you got
flesh
some
and
my
blood,
brother.
like you and I.
Yeah, facts.
We all
That's a
could be
fact.
guided
And
by
you
God,
did
bro.
you hitting on some things today, brother. The truth of all existence. We're about to close out. We want to thank everybody for coming through and checking us out. But before we go, brother Bey, why don't you go ahead and lead us into a section of the Holy Koran where we can go ahead and give the people something that they can continue to build on until our next episode.
All right. So this is easy. This is what I want the people to build on, right? chapter 25 of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, a holy covenant for the Asiatic nations. And I just want to focus on instruction 1. These are instructions. Remember that. Holy, divine instructions from the Holy Prophet. It says, ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother had given you suck. Moors, the first key in the Quran questionnaire, who made you? Allah. Key 2, who is Allah? Allah is the father of the universe. All right. Moors, stop attaching yourselves to little small portions of the earth. To be a Moorish American Muslim is to acknowledge the fact that we are the original people, the original man in the universe. Your most ancient ancestor is God. Allah is our most ancient ancestor. He is the father of the universe, Moors. And that's the truth.
Hey, hey, everybody, please, y'all go to Facebook. My brother, Mr. Maurice Pennington Bey, has created a new business page. It's called Bey the Truth Forever. It's right there under his name. All right. Y'all go on over there and click like. Y'all go on over there and comment on something, love something, share something, show this brother some support. All right. For a long time, I've been focused on helping my people. And a lot of those relationships, for whatever reason, they didn't work. But after this brother just said what he said about what he went through while he was in prison, that that is the reason why those relationships didn't work. And I'm starting to understand that right now. This is a revelation I'm receiving in real time. There were so many relationships. I'm just sitting back like, why didn't this work? Why didn't that work? Why didn't this work? Well, why? Because they weren't prepared. This brother just said that he spent 16 years preparing. And it makes perfect sense why the brother's confidence is through the roof, because he knows thyself. He's done the work for thyself. He trusts thyself. Oh man, this is a beautiful day. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very thankful for you, my brother. And hey, we back here tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, my brother, brother Maurice and I, we got to go. Hey, you got any closing remarks?
Islam, Moors, obey the Prophet and be good Moors. Peace and love.
Peace and love.